It's the rivalry that has defined a golden era in men's tennis. And tonight, Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer meet in a Grand Slam event on the same stage as their Australian Open final in 2009.
Just first of all, Rog, sorry for today. I know. I already know how you feel right now. It's really tough, but you remember you are a great champion. You are one of the best of the history. You're gonna improve the 14 of Santa for sure. Yeah, congratulations for all your career. It's always a pleasure to play with you. The best of luck for the rest of the season.
Obviously, I'd like to play Rafa here because of our great epic match we had here in the finals a few years ago. I'd like to get a chance to play him again here. It's been a long time. I don't know when the last time it's been that we played in the semis of a slam. Maybe back in 2005, maybe at the French potentially. I don't know. But it's true, we've been, on opposite sides of the draw many times.
When we talk about a player who won 16 Grand Slams, I know I will be on court playing against probably the best of the history. So the match is special.
For the following players, please report to the practice desk for their escort to the later arena. Men's singles championship. Roger Federer. Rafael Nadal.
Switzerland is Roger Federer from Spain, Rafael Nadal.
Welcome to the Australian Open 2012, presented by Franklin Templeton Investments.
Ladies and gentlemen, men's singles semi-final action of the Australian Open 2012 from Switzerland, please welcome Roger Federer. His opponent from Spain is Rafael Nadal.
Booming cheers for both players. The first men's semi-final, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal. Federer has played in each Grand Slam event this century. It's our Franklin Templeton featured matchup. 26 Grand Slam titles between the two. 22 of the last 28. It's a special occasion once again. Hi, everyone. So glad you can join us. Chris McHenry with Brad Gilbert for the 10th time, Brad. They're meeting, though, in a Grand Slam event.
To me, this rivalry has stood the test of time, and what makes a great rivalry is when there's a rooting interest on both sides. Fed fans are so passionate, but so are Rafa fans, and they also have contrasting styles, and I think they bring out the best of each other when they play. So hopefully we will have an epic battle tonight.
It does stand the test of time. They have been wonderful friends, great sportsmen, but it's a little different this time.
We got a little edge between them, too, over the start of the tournament, over this little ATP thing, and, they're getting a little older. They're obviously still really good friends, but I think when they come on the court, friends aside, it's go time.
Yeah, it stands a test of time, and it's really a credit to Roger Federer, who's 30 years old and still in the thick of the best of the game.
All right, thanks, guys. Just a reminder about the fireworks tonight at around 9 o'clock. There will be the fireworks. Any questions? Any questions? Roger, he'd like you to call it?
Heads, please.
Heads.
How cool is that? The kid
heads.
gets to flip the coins.
That side, yep. Receive. Okay.
A flip of the coin and then a pat of the head from Rafael Nadal. Lucky kid. And you did hear the players reminded of the fireworks. We'd like to remind you it's a happy Australia Day, and it is an unusual event in sports, but they will stop this match while fireworks go off overhead.
Yeah, at 9 o'clock they'll have about a 9-minute delay. And, you know, a few times in the 90s, guys played through it. Rafa had it last year. So let's say potentially it's in a tiebreak or something like that. That puts a different dynamic in the match. Do they go in the locker room? Do they stay on the court? So that's definitely in both players' minds.
I think fireworks are perfectly fitting for this match. Tell me who has the edge. Break it down.
All right. Well, you know, I've been thinking about it all day long.
I can imagine.
I've been going back and forth. But as I walked over tonight, I had a little change. But let's look at the forehand. These are two of the most stellar forehands you'll see. 3 checks each. The backhand, they both do some great things. Both can work on each other's backhand. 2 checks each. The return, I give it as well. Even. 2 checks each. You'll be surprised by this, but the volleys, 2 checks each. This is where the match changes. On the serve, I give a slight edge to Roger Federer. Great second serve, 3-2. Now this is where the match changes for me a little bit. Speed, I give the edge to Rafael Nadal, 3-2. Now the big one down on the bottom. This is the determining factor of the match. 3-1 in intangibles. I own you in majors, 7-2. 4-1 lifetime on outdoor hard court. It's going to be windy tonight. Perfect conditions for Rafa. I go Rafa and 4 tight sets.
By 2 checks, he goes with Rafa.
17 checks to 15. That's how tight this match is.
Let's see if the guys who are calling the match agree with you. Chris Fowler and Patrick McEnroe. We're back with the checks, guys.
When Brad's waffling, you know it's a tough matchup to call, Patrick. Happy Australia Day, but it really feels like Christmas morning to tennis fans around the world and those lucky enough to have one of the 15,000 tickets inside Rod Laver Arena. The players are even wearing red and green. Patrick, they've met so many times. It gets more precious, I think, as time passes. These guys have pushed each other and lifted each other. What about tonight's edition? What's special about this one?
Well, you're exactly right, Chris. First of all, thank you to these 2 magnificent athletes and players for treating us all with this match again. I mean, to me, Chris, for Roger Federer, I mean, this is a huge match for both players. For Nadal, this set the tone for this year. For Federer to get back, to have a chance to win a major, I think it's even bigger for Federer because of that head-to-head, because of the fact that Nadal has owned him in majors. And in fact, the only major where Federer has beaten Nadal has been at Wimbledon. And this is his opportunity. We remember what happened here a couple of years ago in that emotional final when Nadal won that one. This is payback time for Roger Federer to finally beat Nadal on a court other than the Wimbledon grass.
And he brought up that final here before the press corps had to prompt him at all. We think of Roger as being elegant and ambassador, and he is, but he desperately wants to pay back what was, I think, one of his most painful losses, driven to tears in the stand. Nadal came in so depleted. The 5-hour marathon semifinal, he was not given much of a chance, and he out-toughed and out-nerved Federer in the 5th set. Roger's never forgotten that.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, a question I get asked all the time is, you know, is Federer the greatest ever? And I always have to say yes, he is. He's the greatest player I've ever seen. He's won 16 majors. But when the whole body of work is done, and that's how I look at this match, and if Nadal can beat him again on what I consider a neutral surface, a hard court, and all of a sudden it's 8-2 head-to-head, and let's say Nadal ends up with a few more majors, which is very possible, then it's hard to say Roger Federer is the greatest of all time if it's so one-sided in that head-to-head. This is a chance for Roger Federer to prove that on a surface like this, those years when he was dominating at the U.S. Open and when he was winning his Australian Opens, Rafael Nadal didn't make it that far. He didn't get to that spot. And now you've got Federer, who at 30 is playing as well as we've seen him play in a couple of years. That's remarkable in and of itself. But this is a chance for Federer to say, see, if I had played you all those times at the U.S. Open, I would have got you. But if he doesn't do it, we'll never know.
And that's what Fed fans around the world echo exactly what you just said. Roger's eager, but so is Nadal. He played 4 hours the other day, but he's fresh. No excuses. Both guys in form, fighting for a spot in the final. We come back live.
Australian Open 2012 is presented by Franklin Templeton Investments. Gain from our perspective. And in part by Dove Men Plus Care.
Inside Rod Laver Arena, players taking their final warm-up serves. A time to go courtside and say Happy Australia Day to Darren Cahill for your take, Killer.
Yeah, Chris Fowler. Well, listen, just a great atmosphere down here. Even the MC, the tournament MC, Craig Willis, has been firing up the crowd, and it's hard not to think of this match as a final, but it is a semi-final. And taking note of the conditions as well, they've only just opened the roof, so the wind's starting to come in here. Looks like there's a slight breeze blowing in the back of Roger Federer for the first game, but the court also looks to still be playing quite fast, which has been different from previous years. Nighttime conditions normally mean slower conditions, but the ball is still skipping off the court. I'm going to go a little bit against my buddy there, Brad Gilbert. I know he took Rafa in 4 sets, but I'm taking Federer in 4 tight sets.
Darren, thank you. Patrick, you want to make your call public?
Well, you know, I've been the Twitter land has been pestering me in a nice way. And by the way, I tweeted earlier I wanted the fans to give me their picks, and I've never gotten more responses than I did when I said, who do you think's going to win? It was unbelievable. I would say the fans were about 70-30 in favor of Federer. I'm going with Federer in 4. I think, but I do say this, the one caveat is the closer the sets go, the more it favors Nadal. If the sets go 5-all, 6-all, it starts to give the edge to Nadal. Why? Because he knows what he wants to do. He's more conservative in nature, and he has his 1-2 play, which is kick the ball high to Federer's backhand. And for Roger, he's capable of steamrolling through sets, and I think he's going to need a couple of those tonight.
Federer only had to play 4 matches, had a walkover, hasn't dropped a set. Nadal lost only 1 set en route here. That was a tiebreak when a bad call plagued him in the quarters against Berdych. Federer chose to play with the wind after winning the coin toss, and he'll serve to begin this semifinal.
And also Nadal chose to receive. Mind games already. Wow. Nadal tried to send a message with his first return, bludgeons it. Roger is ready and smacks a forehand winner.
Serve always so crucial for Federer's chances when these guys meet head to head. Figures to serve wide on both courts a lot tonight,
especially here in the deuce court.
40.
Missed the pass, and Federer holds at love. Talked about the 26 previous meetings and the collisions at majors. The most recent meeting was in London, a 6-3, 6-love Federer win on a court that Nadal just hates at the end of the year. But on the big stage with those 5 wins over Federer, 4 in finals, 1 in a semifinal, which is the last time they met in a major semi back when Rafa was a teenager.
And the other interesting matchup that Brad Gilbert talked about is that on an outdoor hard court. So you see Federer leads 5-4. A lot of those wins indoors, which really favors Federer. But in an outdoor hard court, it's 4-1. And the only time Roger beat him when he was a teenager and he was 2 sets down, remember down in Miami, in a best-of-5 set final.
This rivalry was born not quite 8 years ago down on Key Biscayne, where the first 2 meetings came.
One thing that was shaky for Nadal, although it picked up as the match went along against Berdych, was that second serve. And that is something that Federer is going to look to attack and need to attack consistently.
Federer was waiting for another big forehand to the backhand corner, and Rafa crosses him up.
Well, that's the thing that Federer has to guard against, because he always looking for the one to come high to the backhand. So if he's a little off balance, that's why. And that's basically the reason why Nadal has pretty much owned him in big slam matches.
That's for
just consistently go with that heavy topspin up to the backhand side of Federer.
There are no secrets out here, but there are adjustments to be made tonight, and I know you're going to get us up to speed on what subtle things the guys are looking to do differently in this match.
The way Federer's been playing this tournament, and I think it's going to be a key factor tonight, is he's really been playing close to the baseline. He's been stalking the baseline, and what that does is it allows him to go on the offensive pretty quickly, because if he gets pushed back by Nadal, he's in a whole lot of trouble. He's got to make it about quick strike tennis.
How about the aggression on that forehand?
Shooting this forehand sweep.
Nadal left it hanging, and Roger attacked. Early sign of Federer confidence, Patrick, hitting over the backhand. First game and a half.
Hitting over it and hitting it up the line, but not trying to hit it out of his shoes. And I think that's where Paul Annacone has really gotten into Federer's head. You don't have to go for broke down the line. Just hit it solid, hit it firm, and that's going to open up a lot of options, a lot of weapons for him. Great start so far for Federer.
Please.
But a good lob by Nadal made it a very tricky overhead.
Well, what an opportunity missed here for Federer. He was in total control of the point to get himself 2 break points. He actually played, I think he played that volley too deep. He had just played it short. Nadal was so far back.
Intensity early. Hundreds of backhands. Federer will have to win tonight. Annacone knows it. What things has he brought to this head-to-head matchup since he's been working with Federer?
Well, I think it's that backhand up the line. I think obviously, you know, in London when they played there, which was a dead bouncing court, so the ball doesn't really jump. Federer was really able to step around and hit his forehand a lot off the second serve return. It's trickier to do that on this court, though, because the ball does get up higher. Step around and attack with the forehand wing.
That serve didn't pop too high. Stayed right in the hitting zone.
It wasn't that well directed by Nadal. Paid the price.
Nadal's shot looked easy, but he had to back up.
That was a tough shot. More good defense from Nadal here. Keeps it low. He thought about volleying it, but he stepped back and got enough on this ball.
And it's Federer who has the first break point.
That is one of the best backhands I've ever seen Federer hit. It was like a gun going off.
You talked about it earlier, Darren, about the court taking that slice and the ball staying low, and that doesn't bother Federer at all.
And that wasn't a bad slice either from Rafa.
It stayed low. Look at this replay. He just unleashed one there. It's the one up high that gives him trouble.
Serve and volley.
This ball is really skipping through the surface.
Oh, wow.
Nadal, a very deep return position and mishit it badly.
30 love.
Look how far back Nadal is. It's a great play from Federer. It'll be interesting to see if he keeps that in the arsenal. Nadal got in control of the rally. As you see his camp.
40
There's some concern.
Yeah, I mean, Federer's come out on fire.
Yeah, also Roger's keeping enough weight on his shot that Rafa can't get around those backhands to hit forehands.
First 7 points on serve by Federer. Not good enough direction in that wide serve.
That was pretty good. Yeah, that was an incredible return. Watch this.
40-50.
I mean, looked like it was right on both lines.
122.
I still think Federer, that's a great play for him, though, is keep those wide serves coming.
To Federer.
Federer leads 3 games to love.
Roger Federer takes the court and focus and intent and sprints to a 3-love lead. Rafa knows that Roger can play sets like this. They have in their head-to-head matchups been some 6-love, 6-1 sets, and he feels there's not a whole lot he can do, especially in a hard court when Federer is playing like this, but it's doing it for 3 sets, 4 sets, or 5 sets.
Well, Nadal wants to get in some rallies. He wants to extend some points. But so far, Federer is pretty committed, again, to staying on top of the baseline and being offensive, and I think that's crucial.
The backhand corner, because he knows that has an effect of helping to wear Roger down, having to hit all those shots way up there. He wasn't even running.
No. 30.
Again, Nadal yielding court position as he was doing against Berdych in the quarterfinals, Patrick, until Uncle Tony got up out of his seat and gave the hand gesture, move forward.
Yeah, start being aggressive, start hitting out.
Which is blatant coaching and not allowed, but usually not called.
No.
Deep return.
30 to 10.
And Nadal's going to try to take the air out of the ball a little bit in some of these rallies, like he's done in this game, to get some rhythm, to get more height on the ball. That's the tempo he wants. Tempo Federer wants is keep the ball low, hit it hard, hit it early.
They've never played in the US Open, so most believe this is the most neutral court you could find. Do you agree?
I think so.
In terms of their styles of play?
Yeah, I mean, Federer certainly was very dominant at the US Open, which is a bit quicker. Favors his attacking style. Obviously, Nadal able to win there a couple of years ago. But this court, I think, allows you to really win with any style. If you can implement it, you can play way back, you can take the ball early, you can shift the ball, keep it low.
Chilly night. You can see the photographers in coats. Simple game plan, can it, for Nadal? He gets on the board. Friday night on ESPN, Carmelo Anthony and the Knicks against LeBron James and the Heat. NBA Friday starts with Kia NBA Countdown at 7:30. ESPN.com streams it live. The Watch ESPN app also will have the game. Losing just 1 point in his first 2 service games.
Yep. Now you've seen that pattern on any surface. Nadal is so good on the run. Remember one of those French Open finals they played where Federer played in just a point like that, and Nadal hit a running, blazing forehand passing shot like that. Was up the line on the first point.
Well, he hit some blazing passing shots against Tomas Berdych, who played a terrific match and fought well. But Nadal able to come up with the goods. He got better in hour 3 and hour 4 of that match, which was startling. Love to extend this match into hour 3 and 4.
30-50.
Also, one of the reasons that Djokovic has been really successful against Nadal last year is that he honed in on the Nadal backhand. And I think that's where he found a lot of progress. The forehand was still great, and it's always dangerous to come in on Nadal's forehand, but he got a lot of success coming in on his backhand.
Wow.
Aldridge says, you want to pound away at my backhand corner, I'll return the favor.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Darren brings up a really good point, because maybe Federer picked something up watching them.
Yeah, he went to school.
He went to school, and he also, you know, the genius of Federer is that he can basically do whatever he wants out there. But maybe now he said, wait a second, why don't I just be simple? Keep it simple. Keep it into the backhand corner.
Oh, Rafa on the run. Sneakers squeaking, but Federer with another forehand winner and a 4-1 lead. Very convincing start, Patrick.
Oh, he is hitting the ball so clean, and Nadal is he's a little bit rattled right now. 8 winners from Federer, dictating the tempo of the point so far, serving beautifully. And again, I think it's worth going into that the Djokovic game plan, because Federer is really honing in on that backhand wing, and when he gets the opening, then he's going for the winner.
I think also, Patrick, the difference with Nadal is that he's lost a little bit of confidence in that backhand, and he's getting pushed back on the backhand side. We always talk about Nadal getting pushed back if you take it hard and fast to his forehand. But lately, the last 6 months, and maybe Novak is responsible for that, he's losing ground. He's losing court position on the backhand side. And from 8 to 10 feet back behind the baseline, it's tough to penetrate the court.
That's why Nadal spent time in the offseason and in the run-up to this tournament working on that backhand, guys, trying to get more weight moving forward, lean on it, make it a more authoritative shot. He's aware of what Djokovic did to him in the 6 finals last year that he beat Rafa.
And he made the adjustments to his equipment, to his racket, get a little more weight on it for that reason.
He also made the adjustment against Berdych as well, but it took a long while.
3 grams different, same exact frame. There's a little tape that adds those 3 grams that Nadal says is not a major factor, but it just gives him a little more confidence.
Tinkering.
Heft of shot.
He's got to do a little tinkering. Even when
he's a big tinkerer, isn't
even
he?
when you've won 10 majors. Okay, and
interesting to me that Federer at 30 still learning from a much younger playing Djokovic in terms of the game plan against Nadal. You think other top players in other eras had to tinker as much, adapt and adjust at an older age?
Definitely. That's what Nadal wants. 30 needs to get that first serve percentage up so he can then look to dictate with the forehand.
Two 3-set women's semifinals setting up the Azarenka-Sharapova championship match here Saturday night, which we'll have for you.
How about that reply? Not only have they played against each other 26 times, so they've also played a lot of exhibitions. So you said there's no secrets, Chris, and that was one where Federer anticipated it. And look at the shot he comes up with. Unbelievable.
And no reaction. Very contained, composed start from Federer.
We have the 2-time US Open champion Patrick Rafter sitting a couple of seats away from me here, and the last change of ends he was just commenting about how much pace they can generate, these 2 guys, when on the stretch, on the run. He said it's ridiculous.
Dangerous from any position.
Yeah.
Butchered it.
40-30.
Well, tempo-wise, this has been the best game for Nadal in the match, but still Federer's made a couple of remarkable gets. Actually overran that Nadal. Ball again skidded.
First ace for Nadal, and he maintains contact in the opening set.
Federer leads
Down there in that corner where his camp is. Sometimes Rafa will keep a running dialogue, shoot him a lot of glances when he's not feeling comfortable out there. Not just Tony, but another uncle, Miguel Angel, here for the first time, and his father, Sebastian, as well. Who's over there on the right in the second row.
Love the tip.
It's a good solid return there from Nadal, looking for the one out wide. So he gets out there, good position, gets enough on it.
About 14 out of 15 first serves made for Roger so far. Again, not letting Nadal hit a forehand. Federer has come forward, Patrick, already 10 times.
Yeah. This was certainly a makeable volley. Tried to play it short. He's got so much respect for Nadal's speed. That's forced him into a couple errors in this game. Times in these matches between these two where you just start to sense that errors are going to come from Federer. To get the points get tighter, and that's why when they played head-to-head so many times, when it does get close, it favors Nadal. This is a huge moment now.
Fist pump for Nadal. Federer came forward, but Nadal back on serve. Federer had almost flawless start, but Nadal gets the break back, Patrick, and each man's converted on their breakpoint opportunity. What do you make of Roger's decision there in the breakpoint to come forward?
Well, he was hesitating, and there wasn't a lot of conviction in it. And obviously the serve and volley play got him in trouble twice. But the questionable call was, I think, where he hit the serve. Up the middle, and that means Nadal's going to be in the middle of the court. Looked a little indecisive to me there.
noticed that. He would have taken note of Rogers' decision-making in a big point. Could give him confidence. Such a different feel from the first 3 games.
Yeah.
That backhand wing.
Federer was stepping in and taking the ball early, and now, see, this is, you know, you could just see he's starting to think about things. He's starting to go through his head, and that's when he gets in trouble. He's got to be decisive, and he's got to take the ball early. Nadal is right in this set now.
All of a sudden, the miss hits piling up. Is that the head-to-head coming into play? It was such a commanding start.
Yes, I definitely think so.
Shanks in a row in the game, and Nadal is level at 4-all. Roger has to regroup now. Each man's been rattled a bit in the opening set. Winter X Games from Aspen begin Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Snowmobile freestyle final, skiing slopestyle final. Also available in spectacular ESPN 3D, streaming live on the app. Didn't really see this change of momentum coming.
It was all Federer in the first 5 games. He was hitting the ball crisp, clean, and then all of a sudden, like the doubts creeped in. Still 4-all though. So I mean, you know, but Federer desperately needs this game.
3 of the worst miss hits you could have in that game.
Is there any other player apart from Nadal where you look at the time spent on court with these 2 players and you see Nadal's been on court for over 5 hours more than Federer, and you go, nah, it doesn't matter?
Nadal had to play 1 additional match. Federer got the walkover. Reyes Beck couldn't play with a back injury. Federer was just ruthless against Del Potro. Crushed him in what many figured might be a danger match. Nadal got a lot more resistance from Berdych in his quarterfinal.
Interesting, Nadal trying to make a couple adjustments too on his return and step in and be a little more aggressive. His court positioning there on top of the baseline. He doesn't want to spend too much time way behind him.
That's an ace.
That's an ace.
Jake Garber chair overruling. So Federer steadies himself. Nadal will have to serve to stay in this first set. 2 breaks of serve in the opening set. I guess your alarm clock went off a little bit late and just getting up. We appreciate the folks who've either stayed up or gotten lots of messages. People having viewing parties in America.
Yeah, people setting their alarms and getting up and
sacrificing work tomorrow, I'm told.
Love it.
The dedication of a tennis fan. We always appreciate it.
Got to fight through a lot sometimes.
Yes.
So we We really appreciate it.
Nadal serving with the breeze now at 4-5. This is the coolest night we've had, and players will have to adjust the tension. That's Nadal's racket being sent out for a restring. He just played against Berdych a couple nights ago, his first night match. He'd been playing mostly during the day. Federer has had more night play at this event. To be about 20 degrees cooler, Darren, tonight than in many nights of this tournament. Temperatures down in the 60s.
No, it is cool, but it's not that bad. I have got a big blanket out here if we go 5 sets here, Chris.
What's your blankie? Okay.
I'm all set, but it's not making a great deal of difference to the playing conditions. As I've mentioned, the ball is still skipping through the court, so the court's still playing medium to medium fast.
Darren, do you think that Nadal would want to go with a slightly looser tension? That's why he's throwing the racket out. What do you think?
Well, if the conditions are normally a little bit cooler, yes, you would go looser to get a little more power through the court. So the guy just ripping the strings out there.
They're working hard out there. Yeah, they get 25 minutes out of there quick.
That's the easy part, the demolition. First couple service games for Nadal, really a struggle, but a couple commanding holds, and we're at 5-all.
So I think if you're in the Nadal camp right now, you'd sign up for this in a heartbeat, to be at 5-all after the first 5 games and to claw his way back. And again, this is in the history of their matches, this is where Nadal's game plan is much easier to execute because he knows what he has to do. He knows he's going to play heavy to the backhand, essentially, and this is where Roger has gotten himself into trouble.
So there's no change in tension, just a restring right there.
Okay, that's also an RPM Blast Babolat black string, and something different about Rafa is that he uses a 1.35 millimeter string. It's one of the thickest you can buy.
Something to bend down. Forthcoming with equipment tweaks as Nadal. It's been said that if an opponent, like for example Djokovic, hears that Rafa's messing with his racket trying to add 3 grams, that might bring a smile to his face, might be a signal that Djokovic is in his head. Do you buy any of that?
He is. Yeah, he is in his head.
But is that racket thing is symptomatic of it?
Nadal's always, he's very honest. You know, with all the most of the injuries, talks about that a lot. And so I like that. I mean, I think that's it rubs some people the wrong way that he's always talking about his injuries, but I think he's being honest.
And also the players tinker with their frames probably much more than you think,
than you hear about. Yeah.
Right, they just don't announce it.
Exactly. Andre was a maniac when it came to his frames.
A maniac.
Oh, yes.
Another effective wide serve. Nadal will try to force a first set tiebreak.
Keep it going. Get to work there. Speed it up out there.
Welcome back to the Australian Open 2012, presented by Franklin Templeton Investments.
Neither guy at their best in this opening set. Back and forth set in which Federer got off to a great start, but then Nadal was able to claw back. Now we'll try to force a first set tiebreak. Federer, but Nadal tracks it down.
We're sort of waiting for both guys to up their level at the same time, and that started to happen in this rally. Terrific point.
Roger actually knocked to his knees by that dipping pass.
Still so dangerous to come in on the Nadal forehand from so far back as well.
Well, you rarely see Roger stumble like that in the court. Balance is so amazing.
And Nadal, over the years, has tried to change things up in his service pattern a little bit. He loves to serve to the backhand side of Federer, but he's got to be careful. That time he tried to go body, and Federer was all over that return. Roger can do a lot more damage off the forehand return than he can off the backhand.
Nadal does serve the backhand, Patrick. We're seeing Roger hit over it a lot more than he usually does. Not a lot of the chip backhand returns he uses against so many guys.
Yeah, definitely trying to be a little more aggressive. But this is the pattern Nadal wants. The high, heavy ball to the backhand. Then it gets him something to attack. Push Federer way back behind the baseline with that shot.
Couldn't control that chip return.
40-50.
He's got more at stake in this time.
I think Federer does. I think it's more important for him to get the opening set. Nadal is a better come from behind player, and Federer is more dangerous when he gets the lead and can get in front. I think it's much more important this opening set for Roger.
Dead even career tie breaks head to head. Nadal shot a look to his corner. They said don't challenge. It was long.
And again, though, Chris, it's 2 or 3 good, strong balls to the Nadal backhand that keeps pushing him further and further behind the baseline. That's where Federer has made great progress.
Don't you think he should just stick with that, Darren? Sometimes I think he almost goes too often to the forehand.
No, I agree.
Great return there off the backhand.
Just the line.
It was a good swinging serve, too. Look at their tiebreak record. It's exactly the same last year.
The only tiebreak they played head-to-head was the second set in the Roland Garros final when Nadal built a 2-set lead before winning in 4. Backhand by Nadal, set it up.
Yep, that was the one Nadal wanted.
Costly miss.
3-1 Federer.
Talk about Nadal's defense, and it's extraordinary, but Federer himself can play some D as well.
Federer is sounding the call on the right far sideline.
First challenge of the first set.
Yeah, it took a while, 50 minutes.
It's good. The line. That's a bad break for Federer because Rafa did not get that return back.
Response, isn't it? Because he could have argued that a little bit, but and I think he sort of wanted to. But he understands how important this set is. Just kept his mind focused, and that is a big-time ace right there when he needed it.
He could have made the case that Nadal wasn't hindered by the out call.
Correct.
Should have been his point. Good point. Excellent poise. Perfect response. Change ends. Federer up the mini break. And the restring completed. She's hustling back. It took 12 minutes, Pat.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I'll tell you.
It's just outside Rod Laver Arena in a little building.
Players are getting faster and the stringers are getting faster.
Got to keep up with the tempo of that.
I guess so. Used to be that, like, if you could do a restring in 15 minutes, that was amazing.
Federer challenging the call on the right center service line. The ball was called out.
It's a gutsy challenge there from Roger, because if he loses it, he's lost a point.
And the return was in play.
Yeah.
Rafa has a check.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he challenged that there. I mean, even if it had been out, it's so risky because, as you said, Chris, he made the return and he was in a pretty neutral position. I mean, Nadal was going to be on the attack with the forehand, but wow. Terrific play there. Federer sort of snuck in there, Chris. As soon as he saw Nadal go to the slice, watch this, he sees him go to the slice, he sprints forward, and a beautifully placed volley right on the line.
Not always easy to control a volley when it's sliced like that. He barely made it.
When you know that Nadal's going to run it down, you don't hit the volley perfect.
Clearly, is Federer thinking in this tiebreak. Just great decision making. He has 3 set points.
6-3 Federer.
And again, the right decision here, because as Darren and I were talking about, oftentimes Federer likes to go with that forehand back down the line, but he went to the backhand side. He still had to play a very tough shot, and he picked it up beautifully, attacking to the Nadal backhand.
Nadal manages his business. Now Federer, a 3rd set point. This one on his serve. First set to Federer. We get the take of Brad Gilbert. He's with Chris McKendry, and we come back.
This guy.
What a tremendous mental and physical effort from Rafael Nadal.
It's the first set to Roger Federer, and the winner of the first set in 8 of their previous 9 meetings in Grand Slam events has gone on to win the match. Brad Gilbert joining me. Chris McKendry, coming into this match, you said Roger Federer needs a game plan. He needs to commit to it. What have you seen?
To me, he came out with a clear game plan of being aggressive, staying on the baseline, and not wanting to get into long, protracted rallies. And I also thought he did a great job early on of attacking the Nadal forehand. Right here, he's probing him from the baseline, opens up to the forehand winner. And these were all in the first couple of games. I think this set a statement to Nadal. Watch this point where close to the baseline, Federer controlling the point, not letting Rafa get into any rhythm at all, moving him side to side, and I love the finisher here. He holds it and to the forehand. And I also felt like the big difference in the match to me, look at the dots where he's inside the court. That is beautiful work. And I really felt like a big game plan change that I've seen from Nadal and from Federer, that I've seen against Nadal in previous matches, is not chipping the backhand return and committing to hit over his backhand much more than he has in the past.
All right, second set underway. Chris Fowler, Patrick McEnroe, back to you two.
Chris, thank you. And Roger threading a backhand up the line to win the first point.
Yeah, I think this is big for Federer's got the set in his belt, and the fact that he kept it together. And normally, as I said in the beginning, Nadal wins those tight sets, so that's going to really be a boost to confidence for Federer. And you get the feeling that if he can get off quickly here, he might be able to make a run in this set. Quick run.
Shot get in the corner.
You know what was great for Federer in winning that tiebreak, Chris, was that he relied on his strategy. He relied on some set plays rather than just his genius of shot making. And that's big for him, because now if he can get a little lead here, he can start just opening his shoulders a little bit more.
Nadal not slumping, didn't appear too deflated by the loss of that tiebreak. But you're right, needs to hold here to avoid Roger really stretching the lead.
What a pass right there. There's an example too of what Brad was talking about. Even on the full stretch on the return, he comes over it, gets a little something on it right here. Still an excellent approach from Rafa, but Roger's there. It's that commitment to that mentality. I'm going to hit out, and I'm going to go for it.
Well, start with the second set for Federer. Break at love.
First game, second set.
Federer began making 15 of the first 16 first serves in that set. It dropped a little bit, but still excellent serving stats and dominance in his second serve.
Yeah, that's huge. 90%, unbelievable. Both players similar. You'd expect them to be in that range, and the winners to unforce. A little bit better for Roger, and obviously he'll go for more winners.
Serve and volley. That wasn't a bad volley, but hooked. Cross court.
And normally he hooks this one up the line, but you see Rogers looking for it. What an angle.
Love 30.
No slump shoulders, no head down from Nadal, just right back to work. Try to get the break right back.
Hesitant call, challenge from Federer.
Left near sideline, the ball was cut out.
That is out.
Federer has 2 challenges remaining.
Huge for Nadal's cause if he could break right back. To open the second set. Friday night on ESPN. Your Knicks, Patrick McEnroe.
Struggling.
Yeah, they're
struggling big time.
You like their chances against the Heat in Miami? Bucky's? No. It's early. Don't pack it in yet.
Okay, all right.
You're down a break.
Lost 7 of 8, I think.
You're down a break, but you know there's time.
Okay.
There's not a great show of confidence there.
No, I got down 2 breaks.
There's no Rafa there.
Boy, Nadal, who doesn't do anything very quickly on a tennis court, right up and ready to serve after getting that break. It's a very short list of players, I think, who would lose a tiebreak to Federer, get broken at love in the opening game, and not slump their shoulders and not have a little bit of resignation begin to creep in. Maybe only 2.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy and Djokovic.
That's right.
Then you have to back up, I believe, with some shot making, and that hooking pass set the tone, I think, to open that last game.
And Uncle Tony, the coach, likes the tempo that he's seeing now. Nadal's able to get in control of the rallies. He's pushing Federer back a little bit more consistently. It's allowing him to dictate with the forehand. Got 9 winners now off the forehand wing, 6 for Federer.
Also, that's where Uncle Tony in the camp, Nadal's camp, does a great job with him, because at that One Love game when he came out, Nadal ran across towards the box to give the towel to the ball kid, and the camp all got up and were giving him a great deal of encouragement. Not that he really needs it because he's going to be there, but they certainly helped.
That's clean. And it's Federer's position on top of the baseline. That's where he's got to stay. Allows him to go on the offensive, not necessarily hit winners, but force the issue.
serving. But that's not the kind of point Roger wants to play.
No.
40-50.
You also rarely see Roger take a look up to his camp as well. He muttered a few words after that point. I'm not exactly sure what he was saying, but he was very unhappy with himself.
And you're right there, and that is pretty rare. Not one of the more talkative guys on the court. So Tony said that's the way. Hooking serve, on serve in the second set. Australia Day evening. Beautiful night for fireworks. We're going to get some in about 6 or 7 minutes, Patrick. 9 o'clock is the traditional time. They may adjust it slightly if it's right in the middle of a game. That's the power that Rafa and Roger have. But the fireworks will go on, and they'll have to sit down. At times, players have gone on through the fireworks.
Yeah, it's a major fireworks display here in their version of the 4th of July, Australia Day.
Take a look back towards Federation Square, downtown Melbourne, just a short walk from Rod Laver Arena.
Thank you. Ready for play, please take a seat for now.
Second serve there, kicking away.
Brought the heat there, one of his fastest serves tonight. 26. So much respect between these guys, Patrick, and they're each aware it's going to be a long, tough fight. You don't see a lot of emotional displays. You don't see Nadal with the same kind of fist pumping and bomboses.
There's
Roger's very contained, I think, when he plays Rafa for the most part.
Well, you said it. They know they've got to control their emotions, and every ounce of energy they have got to be devoted to the job at hand. Oh, beautiful. Again, being offensive on the return. Tony clapping. I mean, he's such a class act. Good return there, and Federer again steps right in. Well, Nadal certainly, in a lot of ways, is very predictable, and why wouldn't he be with the success he's had against Federer? You look at his serve direction today in this match. 80 to 85% to the backhand. And look at this in this career against Federer.
That's all the matches.
That's every match they've ever played.
A lot of aces, though, to the forehand side.
Wide, you know, that where he sneaks him in there. Good heat from Federer there in the backhand.
That body serve is not really working for Nadal at the moment. He's not hitting his spot, and that means Federer is getting a very good swing at that forehand return.
You do have to be so precise with a body serve, don't you?
Yes.
If you miss your spot, it's right in the hitting zone.
Especially if you don't have a lot of pop on the serve, and Nadal doesn't have a lot of speed on the serve. Big opportunity here for Federer, 15-30 and a second serve.
Stepped around, and Nadal snuck it up the middle on him.
Well, it's really interesting to see that one, Patrick, as well, because that's the one thing that he has not done against Federer on the second serve, and that's to be aggressive with the forehand. Actually, a little more heat on that second serve from Nadal.
Roger leaning the wrong way. Look at it, way outside the doubles alley.
It was basically a body serve, but because Federer took a couple of giant steps out, it won him a free point. Great example of Federer not giving up any ground, and I think that's a little slight adjustment he's made, because he's not going for a lot, Chris, in those rallies, but his positioning is he's smothering Nadal a little bit, and Rafa feels it, and that forces the error.
And these fireworks are due to go off at any second.
So there, and they're going to hold off for a little while.
Can they hold off for like a couple hours?
Here's a break point.
This is good.
See the frustration on Rafa's face after that last point. Worked so hard on that backhand. It's been the emphasis in the offseason. Trying to be more forceful, get better depth on it, but Roger's been picking on that side. Usually in a match, Nadal would hit a lot more forehands than backhands. But it's been about 50-50 in this match.
And that's really been the reason why Roger's been able to hit a lot of forehand winners to the Nadal forehand, is that he has been opening their court beautifully by dragging Nadal out wide to the backhand. You need to open up the court before you execute the winner.
Body served it, and Federer couldn't get the return in play. That's an important hole for Nadal as he saves a break point. Mostly sunny, cooler day on Australia Day in Melbourne. Those up in Sydney celebrating the holiday, dealing with some rain, which would be disappointment for the fireworks watchers in that beautiful city. Closing in on fireworks time here in Melbourne. Federer unable to get the break in that last Nadal service game and stretch his lead.
Thank you.
Serving at 2-3. Shot to prevent Rafa from stepping around and cracking the forehand. Ready for the loudest Grand Slam women's final ever? Azarenka and Sharapova in the beautiful acoustics at night here.
The Shriek Fest?
Oh, yeah.
What a return there from Nadal.
Was that intentional how short he dropped that, or did he just not get a clean hit?
He hit a clean. I don't know, man.
That was pretty wizard-like if he meant to do that.
He definitely meant to slice it short. Absolutely he did.
But that was just perfectly placed. No opportunity for Federer to pick that up. Nadal running now. He had to track down a wide serve way off the corner of the court. Scramble and then another amazing pass. Wrong footing Federer.
He was past the lines person.
Federer erasing one break point. Chance for Nadal to grab command of the set. And that's his biggest display of emotion by far.
Oof. What a great point there.
But Federer bold enough to take that backhand up the line.
Coach Uncle Tony's got to like the way Nadal's getting into the meat of these rallies now and really starting to push Federer side to side a little bit more.
2 break chances saved. Circus passing shots, 2 of them in that game, earning Nadal the break.
And that's a kind of point that can do some serious psychological damage, because Federer absolutely blasted a forehand up the line in the rally, and a good approach shot, and just a phenomenal pass.
Roger just about played the perfect game, but lost serve.
Nadal was able to get out, get a couple of those very wide serves back. Big fist pump from his dad there.
I think also the way that Nadal is returning serve tonight shows you how much he just sticks to that one game plan against Roger. He knows exactly what to do. He knows where to stand. He knows the game plan. He's got a pretty good read on these returns of serve. This is the best I've seen him return all tournament.
It's a good point, Darren. Against Berdych in the quarters last round, Tomas gave him a lot of trouble with the serve early. As the match went on, Nadal was able to read it better and better.
Points starting to get a little more physical, more consistently. And normally you would say that should favor Nadal.
Perhaps a little bit an added importance to this game because they will break for the Australia Day fireworks celebration after this. And if Nadal can hold the 5-2 lead, Federer could perhaps reclaim some momentum, be back on serve for the sit-down.
Big difference is the 5-2 or 4-3. It's 5-2, you're basically thinking, okay, it's a set all. 4-3, it's a little nervier for the guys. Nadal winning more free points on his serve in this set.
And it is 5-2. We'll take a break. Fireworks time. We come back to Melbourne. Australia Day celebrates the first arrival of those convict ships that came from England down here
right.
and began to settle this continent. I think the cloud cover makes it even more spectacular, Patrick.
It's going to get even better, these fireworks. Got the flashing lights at the soccer stadiums, so Federer is going to take the opportunity to leave the court.
Kind of a chilly night. Nadal's putting the jacket on. This could last about 10 minutes. Roger didn't look too happy as he walked out of the tunnel, being down 5-2 and having to take a break here.
It's starting to seriously turn in the direction of Nadal. The tempo of the match and the way that he's starting to make it much more physical, and that's in Roger's head right now.
So as we build to the grand finale here, we'll take another break. We'll get Brad Gilbert and Chris McHenry's take on the match when we come back.
Roger Federer looking for 5 in a row. Nadal trying to break his record.
This is a sign of things to come for Nadal. He's in a whole lot of trouble.
Oh, what a shot. Oh, yes. Brilliant point. Unbelievable.
The champion Federer at his best. Federer takes the lead. Tense, tight, and terrific opening set. Oh, how great was that point? Oh, it was good. Oh, my. A miracle shot from Nadal. Nadal has the lead in the second set.
Federer's a little rattled. Federer has never had to play a 5-set match at Wimbledon.
We go to 5 today.
Dead, solid, even, every way you look at it.
What a game played by the 4-time champion Federer. How high can he raise it?
Federer can taste a piece of history.
There it is, Federer, 5 in a row.
What about glass? Good. And
welcome back to the latest installment of the rivalry, Federer-Nadal. This is the semifinals, we should note. First time they've met in a semifinal of a Grand Slam event since 2005. The match currently on hold as we celebrate Australia Day with the traditional fireworks. The players are off the court. They're actually being held in a massage room right underneath the tunnel. They not go to the locker room. Coaches are not allowed to leave the boxes, Brad Gilbert.
I would
They're not allowed to have
think different massage rooms, right? I couldn't see them in the same one, but how apropos. We got fireworks for the rivalry, but I tell you what, in a set and a break, you kind of got the feeling, even though it was early, that Roger Federer was in control of this match. And very early on, I call it weathering the storm. Rafael Nadal hadn't had any of those exciting points to amp him up. And look at his defense. He's the one behind the baseline, Roger on the baseline, but look at his movement. This is an unbelievable get. He lobs it up, and look at this stick save and a gem. And look at his reaction. That amped him up a little bit. And this is another one here that really led to the break. Once again, a great stab, holds his ground, and this is just a wonderful shot. And I also felt like something you don't see very often. After he got the break back, it was 2-all. It was 15-30. Roger missed a shot, and you saw him kind of look over to his camp, a bit agitated. So he knows that being up a set and a break, you know, he needed to press that lead. Now they go on this break with a 5-2 lead. You know, it's kind of tricky. You have about a 10-minute delay, but I think advantage Nadal the way he's turned the second set around.
Quickly, do you make any changes if you're Federer at this point, or you keep going with the plan?
Oh, you got to stay the course. He's been beautiful hitting over his backhand, and he's committed to being aggressive. Got to just put those, you know, a few bad games out of your mind and go back to work and keep being committed to opening up the court. And I would go back to trying to go to Rafa's forehand a little bit more when he has the kill shot.
We see the players back on the court. The fireworks are still booming. They're just trying to stay warm and stay loose. Does this break favor either player?
You know, that's hard to tell, but the one thing that I do like is Roger coming back out and the guys coming back out and running around. Sometimes when you sit around too long, you get stiff, you kind of lose the purpose of the match. And there is the mini possibility if both guys did say, you know what, we want to play through this, they can. But, you know, obviously they're waiting. But to me, I like to see them jumping around. And to me, when Roger comes and serves this game, I think he's going to serve with purpose.
I see them looking up to the sky. And if I know fireworks, Brad, it sounds like this is the finale.
They're waiting for the crescendo. Where's the crescendo?
I think it's happening right now. Let's get you back over to Chris and Patrick and get this match back underway, guys.
Well, I don't think the match is anywhere near its crescendo, Brad, so that's the good news. We got a ways, settle in, everybody. We got a ways to go here.
Unless Federer can climb out of a 2-5 hole, it's about to be set apiece. And we'll see how sharp they can be, Patrick, after about a 10-minute delay.
They'll be sharp. Don't worry.
Okay.
Maybe not, Chris. There's the first double, so there you go.
Clearly, he's undone by the fireworks delay. Probably more undone by the two passes that Nadal hit in the last game.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's sluggish. He's a half a step slow to get in to take that swinging volley, and that was not much of a movement to the drop volley.
Nadal would have noticed that, Darren. Did you notice it in the previous game? Nothing to do with the 10-minute almost stoppage?
Well, I think the sluggishness is due to the 10-minute stoppage for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gotten a little bit cold here as well. It feels like the temperature in the last 15 or 20 minutes have dropped about 5 or 10 degrees.
He's really made that commitment, Nadal, to stepping into the returns. And it's starting to pay off for him.
That wide serving.
Well, look where he is, Chris. He's inside the baseline there.
I thought that his beatdown of Roger at Miami last year, that was a big feature of that match. Just intent on taking that weapon away.
Crushed him there, 3-2.
This is getting away quickly from Federer. Wow. Broken at love. Time to regroup. Set for set number 3. There's more of the head-to-head numerology. Make the distinction, Patrick, between the indoor and outdoor hard courts, and that's where Rafa's had the edge with the roof open.
4-1 outdoor hard, and Federer's gotten them 4 times indoors, including in the last 2 times Federer's beaten Nadal. Both in the last couple of years have been in the World Champion, the ATP World Championship, to the year end in London.
Rafa fans try to discount those because he hates the court. It's the end of the year when Federer is fresher. Federer fans say most of those losses were on clay.
Right.
That's part of it.
Everybody's got their angle.
Missed it. You felt Roger had a decision to make coming out 2-5 down after the break. Does he claw and scrape and try to get back to 5-all, or just save energy for set 3?
Well, I think after he played a couple of loose points, that he sort of said, okay, let's hit the reset button. Let's get to the 3rd set, 1 set all. You know, I think physically if it turns into a physical war, you give the edge to Nadal.
But just being down 1 break, and he has broken Nadal twice tonight, is that a little bit of a concession to the fact that he doesn't feel confident if it goes to 4 long sets or 5 sets?
I still would give the edge to Nadal in that situation.
Chris, I thought that was a really bad game for Roger. You know, down 5-2, he's got a little breeze at his back here. He holds serve first game. You're ready to play from the very first point. Just had a 15-minute rest, so no excuse for not coming out here being ready and well rested. So I thought that was a very poor game, and Rafa took a lot of confidence from that.
Oh, it's a bad break for Federer. Jake Garner with the overrule, which Nadal will now challenge, but that was going to be Federer's point.
Whenever they think, if they think
pretty good overrule. American chair umpire.
Federer's had a couple of tough ones go against him.
Yep. That all got to the ball but didn't put it in play, and certainly didn't appear to be hindered by the call.
Next.
First 6 points to Nadal since the fireworks break.
Oh, how about that? A sneaky second there.
Better leaning toward the backhand side.
He's not moving nearly as it's just the explosive movement from Federer is, at least at the moment, it's not there. There's a real lull here for him.
Not moving anywhere like he was. This is a real concern, I think. You don't know if he's just in a little funk or if there's something physically that's not right. But didn't even make a huge effort. Kind of a little bit of a lazy half volley there.
And didn't even make an effort to go after this one. That second serve wasn't even that far away from him. In 30 love, he didn't move to it. You could see just as he's going back to get his towel now, Federer is trying to move around a little bit. He needs some energy here.
He hasn't won a point since we started playing again.
Nadal, he's just getting into it. I mean, Nadal's starting to feel it physically. His ball's bigger, it's heavier.
You show Rafa this kind of vulnerability, it will make you pay.
Federer dropped serve 3 times in the last. Remember, he was up a set and a break.
Look at
Look at the second set numbers there, Chris.
As shaky and lethargic a patch as you can have from Roger in a big match.
Got crushed on his second serve points in that second set.
Darren, what's your take on what you're seeing from that vantage point?
No, look, Chris, I can only go on what I saw when the players first came out. Rafa came out with about 6 or 7 minutes before the fireworks finished, and he was jumping around getting ready, and Roger was very late onto the court, and he's just been flat, completely flat. And just knowing Roger as little as I do, sometimes these little things can really annoy him, like this fireworks display. And he knew it was coming. Rafa played a great game to get that break before the fireworks came. He probably went into that tunnel extremely disappointed with how things were just shaping up.
Wow.
No challenge, but this is amazing.
He's completely lost it here. It's going to be 11 consecutive points since the fireworks.
Another double. It wasn't even close. 3 break points. It's a gift from Nadal.
So one of the few times that he stood a long way back to return the second serve, he just buried that in the net.
Real concern in the Federer camp. Paul Annacone there, third from the left with the hat. They've all got the RF hat on. Totally lost the rhythm.
There's a little LA come on from Federer. This is big.
Yep, really big.
He could pull out this game here. You said it, Chris. A big miss from Nadal at 15-40. That was a good serve, sort of slid into him, but Federer went after that ball there. Got to show Nadal. I mean, he's got to show him now. This is going to turn into a dogfight, and he's got to show Nadal that he's ready for it. That psychological battle that's going on. He's got to show him. Because let's face it, when they've played in big matches, when it does turn into a dogfight, for the most part, it's been Nadal. I mean, Federer's gotten him on the grass. You know, the first time when he beat Nadal in the final there was a big moment for Rafa just to get to that point. Second time it was a little closer. It was in 5 sets. Federer ran away with the 5th. That's the last time he's beaten him in a major.
That was almost 6 years ago. Oh, terrible forehand. Almost like Nadal in this game has been confused by what he's seen on the other side of the net. He knows it'll be a missed opportunity if he doesn't get the break.
playing the point exactly the way he wanted to play it. Kept going up the line, then got the ball that he could attack and just missed it.
In this set, 7 unforced errors already in the second game. No help from the net court. That's a nervous wife.
Yeah. This was a play that he opened the match with pretty effectively a couple of times, but as it gets tight, as it gets closer, as you get deeper into it, can he keep pulling it off? That's the question.
Nadal anticipated that and he was sprinting forward. But Federer steadies himself and all. Another reminder, Winter X Games from Aspen begin Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. A couple of marquee event finals. Skiing slopestyle, snowmobile freestyle, among other things. Rogers fans in Rod Laver Arena trying to get him going. Nadal couldn't cash those 3 breakpoint chances from low 40. Serving like the way he finished off the British match.
Exactly
not
right.
the tight start to that one.
Federer started off in that serving great, but in the last set and a half, Nadal has really picked it up. He's serving much better. His percentage is a lot higher, 80 to 62. But he's also putting something on it, and that's allowing him to play points like this.
And he's protecting his second serve very well. See the head fake before that second serve? Federer kind of gave a little movement to his left. Almost daring Nadal.
That's impressive numbers there. 67% first serve, 71% on the second.
For the time capsule, that drop shot. Second, Nadal hold at love in the third set.
Welcome back to the Australian Open 2012, presented by Franklin Templeton Investments.
Welcome back to Melbourne. Part of the Rafael Nadal mindset is the meticulous nature, Patrick. Everything must be perfect. The water bottle must be positioned exactly there. The sports drink.
Someone say that's insanity. So that he literally had to be exactly in the right spot.
Like a quarter inch over. He's not one of those guys that can't leave the hotel room without going back 15 times and checking it. But he's very meticulous on the court. He has that pre-match ritual. Must have the energy gel, then drink the water. Then he keeps his opponent waiting every match.
And this would help Federer's cause a lot, Chris, if he can sort of refine his first serve and win some cheap points. As the serve goes, so goes the rest of his game and the flowing nature of his genius. When he has to struggle, when he has to battle point in, point out, that's edge Nadal.
Very quick
As for a change of racket, one game before the new balls came. In fact, the new balls are coming out now, and so because Federer is not serving, he'll go and change the racket for this Nadal service game.
But if Federer was serving, he would wait, right, Darren?
Correct,
yeah.
and Nadal more than likely would change his racket after this service game.
Some players, Tomas Berdych, a few others who comes to mind, who don't change their racket when the ball changes. Use the same stick until the string breaks.
Now you wonder if it's Federer that's got to make an adjustment on the return. You know, Nadal's look to be more offensive, more aggressive. Does Federer at least take a step or two to his left? Well, Nadal hasn't. I mean, he burned him that one time when he went out wide to the forehand, but not a lot more than that. One to the body. Getting some bite off the ground. His movement's better. Yep. New ball's moving through the air. A little bit quicker. Federer a little crisper with his footwork there.
Retreated to a deep position to return that ball.
I don't mind that play once in a while. I try to get some air and hit a heavy forehand, but he hasn't done it a lot, so he just completely mistimed it.
Same time tomorrow, Djokovic and Murray in a matchup just about as compelling as this. Trump tried to move up and take it early.
Very risky. He's allowing Nadal to win a lot of cheap, quick points on his own serve.
Just like that one. 3-2. And his fans aware that Roger Federer turned 30 last August. Rafael Nadal has lost one time in his career in a major. So the man passed the age of 30.
One time.
It's a tricky question.
All right. Oh, yes. One time to a player past 30, over 30 in a major.
It's not recent.
Not recent, okay.
Yeah, this is going to be a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nadal was really young.
That Which major? Okay, you got me.
U.S. Open.
U.S. Open. Okay, so early on he was
a veteran, very famous for a match on this court.
Eunice Elinau.
Yes.
Oh, nice one. That's a very good question there. Moroccan.
It was a 21-19 in the fifth set against Andy Roddick.
Oh, what a memory. And I mean, he had a good memory. What a memory for all of us who saw that one.
Yeah.
It was the very first time I came to the Australian Open. I feel this is pretty good.
This is all right.
Let's
Yeah,
come down
I like
here,
this
watch
gig.
40 took so much out of Roddick that he wasn't ready for Rainer Schüttler.
Yes, remember he made one of those dives.
Diving at match point.
Yep. Federer's had some calls go against him. He's also made some poor challenges, but here's one where he didn't challenge on the first serve.
For Federer, but it had so much force, it popped up, he couldn't control it.
Incredible defense from both players, and Federer really didn't do enough with that approach. It was going to be a clean winner.
He kind of gave up on it.
Yep.
Thought it was past him.
Big point now for Roger from 40 love and now 40-30.
Federer was coming forward. 3-all.
Well, you just get the feeling now, Chris, that any one of these games could be crucial. I mean, they're kind of cruising along, and they're both holding comfortably in this set. But you get the feeling that it's, you know, obviously whoever wins this set's going to be in charge, but it just.
Nadal holding really comfortably.
Yeah.
You wonder how if he faces a break point for the first time in a long time.
That's a good point, Chris. Really needs to get his teeth into one of these Nadal service games. Just feel that pressure building on his service games. As Patrick said at the start of the match, the later we go in the set, the closer the score, the more advantage you give to Nadal.
Federer played a brilliant tiebreak to win it 7 points to 5.
But a bad start in that set from Rafa. Great start from Roger.
Ridiculous get by Federer. You saw that one behind him. You didn't give much of a chance of getting it back.
These guys have played some incredible recovery shots, haven't they?
That's where the one-hander helps Federer out. He's so nimble. Get something on that ball. Completely off balance.
Hitting the back of his leg. Had to make quick steps, didn't quite get there, trying to hit a forehand.
That was a heck of a backhand. And this one was so heavy right here, Chris, from Nadal. And Federer kept his balance, got the ball in a pretty good spot. Maybe some of his defensive scramble shots taking their toll on Nadal a little bit. Little role reversal.
For flexing his leg.
What a huge moment right here.
Break point. Federer went for it. He wasn't going to allow Nadal to continue to pin him over there.
Yeah, just so difficult to get it to Rafa's backhand on the break points. He works so hard to shrink that side of the court.
And right there is why Nadal has won the big points and the big matches against Federer, that he's able to hit that play right there when he needs it. That's a great play from Federer. When Roger's able to get a good cut on the return, he gets into a neutral position. And the forehand going back behind Nadal is a great play here.
A lot of sting on it.
Now, where's this serve going? That break point. What do you think the plan is for Nadal here?
Sometimes he can be unpredictable on big points.
Sometimes he does hit this one straight down the middle.
Okay.
History says hook it wide.
Heavy kick wide. There it is.
That's
good call, you guys.
Yep. It's just he knows the book on him.
Yep.
You still got to hit the serve, though.
Now, listen, he's been charted many times against many different opponents, and on the big points, he's 50-50. We're swinging that out wide or going down the middle, so you certainly can't give him one or the other.
That was right at his fastest serve of the night.
Only his third ace, too.
If Rafa's ahead in the count, 15 love or 30-15 or 40-30, 9 times out of 10 he'll slide that wide.
First double, if it's confirmed.
Weird start to the set. Both guys fully aware now the ante has been upped. Third break chance for Roger. Goes back to the wide one. Last two break chances. Federer not able to get a return in play. avoids the break. Roger's back.
Physical or mental disability, Parmalee can help. We've won over 15,000 Social Security disability cases for our clients. Disability law is all we do at Parmalee Law Firm.
Those of you who set the alarm to join us at 6 o'clock in the East Coast. You've missed some good stuff already. In the third set, Federer up a break. The women's side earlier in the semifinals, Victoria Azarenka took out Kim Clijsters in what Kim said will be her final Australian Open. Maria Sharapova tougher in the big moments than Petra Kvitova. A bit of payback for the Wimbledon final, and it's Maria and Vika in the championship match Saturday.
It was great to see two really, really good semifinal matches for the women. And now to top it off, we get this match.
Do you go back to your first set stance that this set means more to Federer?
I think it does.
That's the case, then he may have come out of the funk just in time.
Exactly right. Up 40 down.
Like what you said earlier, that in the pressure moments, Federer's game plan is higher risk, and therefore tougher to execute consistently than Rafa's game plan.
And tougher to execute on the pressure moments. But the interesting thing about this set is that Nadal's actually made a couple of mistakes on big points. It hasn't really been the offense of Federer that's given him this lead. It's been more defense. But there's nerves now. I mean, both guys. You look at Federer, that's his fifth double. He's made only 6 winners in this set, Federer, and 14 unforced, whereas Nadal's at 7 winners, 7 unforced. But Federer's got the lead.
5 doubles, or 4, I should say, in the set, are part of that error total. Ridiculous pass from a very deep position.
15-40. Well, I still think that on this ball, I mean, you can go either way. Why not make Nadal pass with his weaker wing, the backhand side? It's still a great shot.
Chance for Nadal to get back even. Nadal back in it. It could be absolutely huge series of points in this match. If you're looking for Mike and Mike and not Roger and Rafa, you find them over on ESPN News. But you have to be hardcore to leave this at 4-all.
A set-all.
Settle, yeah.
Remember, Federer had the set lead and broke. There's Kim. Look at Kim Clijsters in the house. Tough loss, but she's enjoying this matchup. Why not? Good for her.
It's great to see. It shows you how big a deal this match is. Kim saw her in the hallway after losing to Azarenka. She was pretty down. I mean, I think that she felt like she had control of that match for a while. Let it get away in the third set. But she still says, I'm not missing Roger versus Rafa.
She's a fan. Setting a break for Federer. He broke in the opening game of the second set. And what happened? Nadal breaks right back. Federer gets the break at 3-all. what happens? Nadal breaks right back. That's that mental tenacity of Nadal. Absolutely doesn't give no letdown at all, ever. Mentally. Which is not to say that he's not going to miss some shots, make some errors, you know, which he did to lose serve, but he comes right back with his mindset.
Do you believe one of the many Gilbert philosophies that it's almost worse to get the break, be ahead, and then get broken back than never have broken at all?
It can, yes, absolutely.
Every hold he can get now to force Federer to hold serve to stay in the set. Crank up the pressure.
And they cranked up the pressure in this rally. 23-shot rally and outstanding ball striking from both sides.
Crucial service game for Federer coming up. Break of serve for each man in this set. As Federer jumping in front, as Patrick pointed out, again the pattern Nadal breaking right back. Now Federer at 4-5. Set left short, and Federer still willing to attack it with the backhand.
You know, it seems crazy to say about Roger Federer, arguably the greatest player of all time, but I get the feeling that now for him, when we've broken down the X's and O's, Chris, we know what each guy's trying to do. It's about his belief. Does he believe he can beat this guy in a 15-round fight?
I think he took the court filled with belief. I think he was confident about this surface.
You take the court, and then it's like Mike Tyson used to say, you get hit with a couple of roundhouses, and then and that's what Nadal is always trying to do. He's trying to land those blows early. He's trying to make it physical.
And he is a guy that's capable of playing better, moving faster, hitting harder in the third and fourth hour of a match. And that's a very small club.
Yep.
Oh, what a volley.
Foul ball.
Oh, he's mixed in some serve volleys on some second serves. It paid off.
He had a little more success from the end where I thought he may struggle, and that's against the breeze with the serve. He's dropped his serve with the breeze, which I thought would have been an easier end for him.
He's come forward a lot tonight, Federer. Hasn't been a great winning percentage. Rafa's ripped some big-time passing shots. but he's been more efficient in this set with net approaches. Nadal serving with the breeze.
I actually think he may have second-guessed himself there. He probably wanted to take that around the post, but you had the ball kid standing right in his way and maybe second-guessed about the direction. Well, a little bit of room would go between the ball kid and the post.
She wasn't looking at all.
She might want to.
That would have hurt.
Keep her head up there. Like everyone else here, focused on the job at hand. Oh, yes.
Guessed wrong, Patrick, but still flipped down the turning play.
You got enough on it, didn't you, Chris, to get it deep. This return right here. That was the next shot, and then finds the opening up the line.
That forehand up the line's really only been there when he's gone on the previous shot to the Nadal backhand.
They really pulled him out of the court, right?
Big pressure point for Nadal.
Nadal telling himself to hit through that backhand.
See if Roger's aggressive here and runs around this second serve and hits a forehand.
Good there, but he couldn't get ahead of the point.
And he slightly mishit that return, Chris.
He's made some of those wide squash shots tonight. Insect removal. You can't be squeamish about that stuff if you're going to be a ball kid at this tournament. Costly.
Tony's out of his seat, the only one in the house that stood up there. Coach and uncle of Nadal got right up after that point. He knows how big this was.
That was for break point for Federer.
Costly miss there.
Against it again, serving at 5-6 when we come back. Both men up, jumping around, trying to flex the legs. Pressure service game for Federer. Trying to pull this into a third set tiebreak. This crowd is so tense into every point.
And we're not the only ones. Now Federer's picked up his serve in this set. That's helped a lot. his cause.
Snapped a crisp return right back.
He's missed his last 3 pretty routine forehands as Federer. This one's there to be hit.
He's starting to lose that shape, that nice shape that he gets on that forehand, hitting it too flat, and all of his misses are going into the net.
Good call.
That's first serve.
And it's also a product of Federer going for more against Nadal because of the defense of Nadal.
Nadal is challenging the call on the right
Rafa
center
gave a
service
peek
line.
after the let.
The ball's gone in.
He's only got 1 challenge left. And will get reset to 1 if they go to a tiebreak. That is a good use of the challenge.
Wow. Second serve.
And a second serve now. Crowd didn't believe it.
There's the shape.
Yeah, you know, for the life of me, Darren, I don't understand why he doesn't go to that just constantly. Because he can hit that shot constantly, Federer. If he hits that heavy ball with that kind of shape, Nadal can't hurt him from that backhand, deep in that backhand corner. That's what Djokovic did all last year. Why try to take that up the line? It's like he can't just stick with. It's almost too boring for him. Now, obviously, he's made that shot a lot, and he'll make it a lot more again. But in this matchup, boy, you got to wonder if that's the right call.
Delivers a set point for Nadal. Take a commanding 2-1 lead.
Also a ball there that he's got plenty of options on with that return dropping short and also sitting up high. Roger can go either way on this one, but really good feet there by Roger to get inside the court. Aggressive with his footwork.
Oh, what a catch.
Ricky Ponting.
Athletes all over the court.
Everybody's on their game. That was huge. Nadal tried to make it happen there. Took a risk here. Stepped in. Just pulled it wide.
Both players receive 1 additional challenge.
So this is a pretty nice match to wake up to early, huh, Chris?
I hope they've been awake for a couple hours. Just in case not.
Just in case.
Come at a very important time. times when the decision making, the shot selection is so huge. Federer was just about flawless, I thought, in the first set break in that department.
Well, he had a very makeable volley there. But again, as Darren pointed out earlier, he's trying to cut it pretty close because he knows who's on the other side. What this man can do on the run.
Amazing how deep his return position is.
A heads-up play here. Look how Nadal moved forward to take that early to play the drop shot.
Federer is challenging the call on the right far sideline. The ball was off limits.
It's an example of what you said before, that it's a high-risk game plan to do it in a tiebreak, try to hit over that backhand up the line. So tough to execute. Pressure moment.
Federer has 2 challenges remaining.
And what does Nadal do? He's a little bit tight, but he just plays very safe. And a couple of routine balls just to the Federer backhand. I mean, look, this one was very safe down the middle. Decent depth. This one he tightened up on, but he still gets it to the backhand, and he gets a cheap point with a miss. That and right there is why this guy's up 7-2 in head-to-head in majors.
Command now will change ends. 5-1. By the time the approach was to the Nadal backhand,
yeah, but
roped not very deep.
Didn't hit it well at all. Actually, slightly mishit it. Look at that. Nadal had to take one step.
And that's the practice court work in the offseason, leaning into it. And the set, Patrick, that you really felt meant more to Federer. He was in deep trouble in this tiebreak. Virtually a must-win point. Well, it's been a strange set, hasn't it?
Yeah.
An hour and 3 minutes. Terrible start.
And Nadal really, I mean, let's be honest. Nadal's done nothing out of the ordinary in this tiebreak. And he's just allowed Federer to self-destruct.
A whole string of set points.
Federer hits his 12th winner this set. He's hit 25 unforced errors. And I think about maybe 4 or 5 of them in the tiebreak.
Federer saving 2 set points on Nadal's serve. Tiebreak's not finished yet. Saw what you saw, doing nothing special, allowing Federer to self-destruct, but on these set points, a little bit conservative. 3 of them pull back now.
Wins this point, and then it's really interesting. Wow. 5. 4 in a row. Can he get 5?
Now nodding to his camp there.
Yeah, Nadal, if he can here, will refuse to hit a backhand.
That's his choice of first serve.
Well, usually when he's ahead, he'll slide wide, yeah.
Fifth chance. To 1, a set from the final, and Federer will have to search deep for some answers.
Welcome back to the Australian Open 2012, presented by Franklin Templeton Investments.
Welcome back to our live semifinal coverage. Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal. Nadal just going up 2 sets to 1. If you're just joining us, waking up on the East Coast, well, good morning, good day from down under, as they say. Chris McHenry with Brad Gilbert. That was the psychological set of this rivalry. You know, when they split the first 2 sets, Brad, whoever wins that 3rd set has gone on to win 5 out of 5 times.
That's a great nugget. I mean, that set had more ebbs and flows. At 1-0, love 40, Nadal's won 11 points in a row. He looked like he was about to put the screws down and take care of the set. And then when he didn't break, gets broken back at 3-all. What resiliency he showed to hang in there, and then he had to hang in there in that break or 2. I tell you what, full credit to Nadal for hanging.
Take a look at the errors, forehand errors especially. Roger Federer 29, Brad, to 10.
The 65% that Nadal went on, oh my God, I just lost my voice. 65% he won on second serves was awesome.
Let's get it back to you.
No, that's a first.
It had to happen.
Yeah, that's a first. Right.
Now Federer just back to work, begins this 4th set with an ace. Belief. Yeah. That's the word you've used a lot tonight. It's a test for Roger right now.
Huge test.
15.
And Nadal, you know, as Darren talked about on that before that set point, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He played a couple of loose points to let Federer get back to 6-5.
Federer is challenging the call on the right center service line. The ball
And he
was
just
cut
executed
out.
it.
Reliable serve, step around, hit a forehand.
Yep.
30-15.
So it's an ace. Tuning in to watch Mike and Mike. You can see that instead on ESPN News. Of course, we'll have the conclusion of this match for you.
He tests the ball kids like no other player.
Comfortable service game for Federer. You feeling any better, Patrick, about your Knicks than you were an hour ago?
No,
We talked about the game
not
with the Heat.
feeling any better at all.
Losing belief already in Carmelo?
He had, I think he had 1 point a couple nights ago.
That won't work.
No.
Kia NBA Countdown begins things at 7:30 Eastern. Tip off at 8.
I think they have other sporting teams that they're more interested in the New York area at the moment now.
Well, New York fans will be interested that Roger Federer picked the Giants over the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Right.
He likes New York, where he's won titles. And he likes England, but not New England, apparently. He was there in person to watch David Tyree make that great catch from Eli Manning
was he
when
really?
the Giants beat the Patriots in Arizona. Yeah, he was excited to hear. I told him that's what you saw, one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history. He kind of liked the fact that he was on the scene for that one.
Well, let's see if he can have one of his greatest wins in his storied history right here, because that's what it's going to take. Come from 2-1 down against Nadal.
The 09 final, the only previous meeting between these guys on this court. He did come from 2-1 down to level it in a statement in the 4th set, and you thought for sure Nadal would have little left for the 5th. You'd have been wrong. Thought that.
Yeah, big time. Well, he did. If you're Federer now, you've got to look at this as an opportunity to do, you know, he's done everything. He's done pretty much everything there is to do, but has he ever really come back in a huge match? He's on the mat now. Can he come off the mat and beat his biggest rival?
That's a great point. He's done almost everything you can do. Every milestone, every record. But you would rank this right up here if he can turn this around, win the next 2 sets with any victory he's ever had.
Sure, I don't know about that, but it would be, because it's not to win a major. Right. It would be a huge accomplishment for him to win this.
Yeah, also about belief moving forward as well.
Nadal answers Federer's comfortable hold with one of his own. Another kind of early set low. You want to make a call yet on Djokovic and Murray? Tough to pick against Djokovic. Do you see any vulnerability in the whenever Federer, the breathing difficulties, which he played off as not important?
No, I don't. Whatever difficulties he seemed to have, sort of midway through the match, in the third set, he was playing unbelievable.
This is a really important moment here for Roger. He cannot let Rafa get on top in the early parts of this set. We've seen it a lot of times when Rafa will run through a set. Don't necessarily think he has to win this match to have that belief or that confidence moving forward, but he definitely has to play a good set of tennis here.
There's that shape, Darren. I mean, good height over the net there. And the problem for him is to do that on the big points and end of the sets.
Short of 3 hours. Nadal still exploding around the court. No edge off his movement at all. Darren, amplify on that. What's at stake for Roger in this set? Win or lose it for the rest of the year?
Well, I believe the belief moving forward. You know, he still really does believe in his mind that he can match it with Rafa over 5 sets. But if he was to go away in this set, if he was to play a bad set of tennis, it's tough to see him regrouping and having that belief in the rest of the majors for 2012 against Rafa. It doesn't necessarily transform itself to a Murray matchup or a Djokovic matchup, but against this guy, he obviously has a real problem. In the head-to-head matchup, the matchup is not a good one for him.
And if it's Nadal coming through and Djokovic tomorrow, it's Rafa that has to prove that he can match up with Djokovic.
That's correct.
Backhand delivers a break point to Nadal.
My point also goes to the fact that he finished last year so well. You go through the off-season, you do all the work, you come in here fresh, you're playing great tennis. So that's why I feel like this set is very important to him. He may not win this match, but this set has to be a strong one. Well done.
Strong reply to the break point. 24-match win streak for Federer. No losses in official events this year.
Hasn't lost a match since U.S. Open, Chris. That's a long time.
The Abu Dhabi exhibition doesn't count.
Make my list, no.
No, okay. Makes Djokovic's list.
I don't think it makes his either.
That's Federer's biggest serve of the night, right there. 129. Good response to that test on serve. Match at the 3-hour mark. By far the most work Federer's had to do. His longest match at this Australian Open had been 2:17. That was not a real physical match. You can see Karlovic, a lot of quick points, as you might imagine. In fact, he'd only been on court a total of 7:38 in the whole tournament. So 3 hours tonight and a long way to go if he's going to pull this one out.
Ivo was a bit unlucky not to win that opening set against Federer.
The set point at his serve, yeah. Federer got that lob up and over the 6'10" guy on set point. Rafa played 4-16 2 nights ago, but you just don't get the feeling it ever really bothers him.
He's got that ability to sort of almost pick it up as the match goes on, and swing freer and footwork's better, move more aggressively.
It's a bit similar to the Carl Lewis story when he described sprinting and how it looked like that he was accelerating for the last 30 meters of the 100 meters, but in fact he was keeping the same speed and everyone was decreasing speed. Well, that's how he described a little bit here with tennis as well. When you get to the 3-hour mark, the weight of shot for your opponent slows down a little bit. So Rafa actually has a little more time. It certainly looks that way as well.
Do you think Federer's weight of shot has slowed down, Darren?
Just a little.
From love 15, Nadal puts 2 serves in that Roger can't get back. Consider that Nadal was face down on a massage table in his hotel suite the day before the tournament in tears. I think he might never get out here. You see that right knee wrapped. He felt something pop, shooting pain while in his hotel room. Scan, MRI showed nothing. He's been unhindered by it. For a few hours, though, on that Sunday, he was just scared, thinking, you got to be kidding me. I mean, the last 2 Australian Opens, injuries in the quarterfinal round, shoulder injuries, all that he's had, and now you're telling me you're going to get hurt in a hotel room the day before the tournament?
Yeah, the shoulder was the big concern when he came down here to Australia.
The knee's been just fine.
And so is the shoulder.
Yep.
These guys also know, you talk about we're in, over 3 hours now. They know they've got an extra day off before the final. So that not that that's crucial, but it helps.
The only major where the men's semifinals are split. This side of the draw. It's 2 days, or actually 3 days rest. Great return by Nadal to poke that in play.
Some tough balls up high to the Federer backhand during that rally.
He says that was for love 30.
I really think that Federer has made the mistake of trying to go up the line too often with that forehand, unless it's up high and it's middle of the court. Watch this ball here.
He's behind the baseline as well.
Behind the baseline, even if he makes that, Nadal's still going to be there in plenty of time. And then there it is again. He comes in. Why not come in there to the backhand? It's one thing if you can hit the winner. Okay, you go for that, but that's just giving Nadal. Look at this. Is an easy pass for Nadal. You think Djokovic would come in over there? He'd be pounding away into the backhand corner.
Danger time for Federer. 2 break points.
Still coming forward. Yeah, a little tense on that volley. But see, this play comes in. The backhand it's not as devastating from Nadal. He will make some good passes with it, but that was an easy volley for Federer to make.
Remember these 3 break points Federer has saved already early in the set.
And Nadal's had some chances to really open this match wide open here early in the 4th. Hasn't been able to do it.
Nadal very close a few times in this 4th set to really getting a stranglehold on things. Federer able to fight through break chances.
Yeah, he's had him on the ropes. And Federer's been able to fight off.
Another little word that Federer had with Jay Garner as he went out to return serve.
And he said something to him, Chris, just as he was walking to his chair there. And it was very loud with the crowd cheering. So, and that's usually when he talks to the chair umpire. Let's see this. Let's show you.
He knows when to time those jets so the mics can't pick him up.
Yep.
Had said something, a briefer exchange as he walked out after the sit down.
Quite often Roger can get a
creeping in, but again off balance as he guesses wrong on the serve.
Yeah, he's got to lean. I mean, that's the play for him, though. Is to look for that forehand. He might get burned once in a while, but I think overall it's a good strategy. Average time between points, and maybe
I was just about to ask about that.
Yeah, it's 30 seconds for Nadal. By the way, the rule is 20 here.
I think that was a gentle reminder to the umpire if
yes,
he was monitoring
that would be
it.
my guess. Okay, that's normally what perturbs Federer about playing against Nadal.
Oh,
that perturbs him even more.
Yeah. Yeah,
again, it's like but I still, Chris, I mean, I know I'm harping on this, but it keeps coming in on this side. I don't get it.
keep on harping because it's an excellent point. And that has been the result a lot.
That's where going to the tape after one of these matches, you can learn a lot from it, and why it's
Darren,
still so important.
Yeah, do you think it's just a lack of, because he's such, I mean, he's such a genius. He's got so many shots that he's been able to do it for so long his way that it's almost like too boring to do what we're talking about.
Well, the only example I can give you was a few years ago I did spend a couple of weeks with Rog, and I took over the 2009 final that he played against Rafa here, and he was something like 1 for 14 on break points in that particular match. And we broke the matches down against Nadal. One of the things I was really looking for him to see was the lack of aggression on break points. And before we went to the tape, I spoke about it, and he thought he was extremely aggressive on the break points. And I used a sports code system. I broke the whole match down, and we went to 5 minutes of tape that pulled out those 14 break points. And he was shocked to see how defensive he was. So it's still very important, no matter how good you are, to go back to the tape.
I mean, do you think he's aware that? I mean, look, obviously part of his game plan is to go up the line to Nadal's forehand, maybe get him out of position, but I mean, when you see what Djokovic, now obviously it's different game styles, obviously. But Djokovic has been able to just hone in now with incredible court coverage and, you know, all the things that we know that he has.
30 minutes.
And make Nadal pass him from in a deep spot in the backhand corner. And Federer will go there, and then he'll go, okay, now I'm going to whip one up the line and make, you know, hit it, flatten it out. Now I'm going to hit the drop shot.
What I find interesting about what Darren said is that even if a player is tuned into his own game, as Roger didn't have a real sense of how he was playing those break points. It's like when you're out there in the moment, Darren, you think you're doing one thing and you have to be shown otherwise.
But it's just about inches, Chris. It's about slightly getting ahead in each point, and that's what Rafa does so well on the big points, is he never gets behind on the big points. He hits that first serve to a spot, and he makes the next shot a forehand, and he won't let you get to the backhand, so he's never slipping behind. Oh, he wins or loses those points on his terms. And whilst Roger was hitting the ball fine, he was hitting the ball great, he wasn't getting slightly ahead in the point. And that's what we're talking about when you need to be aggressive on the big points. Make it on your terms. Easier said than done, though.
By the way, Federer's got every shot right now. He's digging in this set to get this to a fifth. Comes up with that combo.
Still breaks in the board. We welcome the 7 a.m. alarm clock club on the East Coast. If you're just joining us, Rafael Nadal 2-1 over Roger Federer in his first men's semifinal.
I think we had some at 3:30 a.m. East Coast time, some at 4, 5, and we had some that maybe just stayed up all night.
If you're in the West Coast and it's 4 a.m. and you're just plowing right through, forget about work tomorrow. Federer, an uphill fight, but still alive in this fourth set. It's been Nadal with very comfortable service games. He's only dropped 2 points on serve in his 3 games so far. Federer's had to fight out of trouble.
What's that first serve percentage in this set, Chris?
71% for Nadal. It's actually down from his 76 for the match, Darren. Excellent serving.
Yeah, very solid.
Please. And after the first set, when Federer raced to a quick start, Nadal has protected the second serve extremely well. Same time tomorrow. The dominant world #1 last year, Novak Djokovic, defending champion, of course, against Andy Murray. Is this his major to break through? We thought maybe before. Covered 3 hours and 19 minutes into this match. Incredible. Such an explosive mover. He did miss it coming forward. Doesn't have the best control in the world. Would you agree when he does get to that?
Well, he doesn't get down that well. He's not quite as flexible. He's very explosive. I would say Djokovic has that explosiveness, and he's a little more nimble.
He was so far back there as well. He was running from South Yarra there to get that drop shot.
What a shot.
This is Federer digging in now, trying to grab the break. Coming with all kinds of stuff.
How great is this to see? Explodes on that, comes in. A beautiful dink shot right there.
Explain how hard that is to do, what he just did. That touch. Huge point for Nadal. Two really explosive back and forth miles.
Also goes to show with that stat how efficient Nadal is, because he really does give the impression he's covering a lot more court than Federer, but both guys working extremely hard.
Gone away from the slice as Federer, and I think he has to in some sense, because he's got to keep hitting the ball. But this was a beautiful slice return that stayed low, and then he found the opening and just rocketed this one up the line. Only his fourth backhand winner of the match, but that was a beauty. Second serve there from Nadal, and that allowed Federer to get in charge of the point from the get-go.
Federer has not had a break point on Nadal's serve since going down 2-1 until now.
And again, what did Federer do to get himself into an offensive position? Just go to the backhand, get him into the backhand corner, and then boom. very questionable.
Just falling backwards, wasn't it?
Just wasn't set up for that. There was no need to go for broke here.
Nadal wanted that particular ball, then he throws it away.
Yeah, they know they escaped the trap right there. That was right there for Federer, that opportunity.
He may regret it.
Big time. Oh, what a shot there.
Two really forceful forehands to close out the game for 4-all. Two of the great weapons we've ever seen in tennis, the two forehands of these guys. Struck differently for different styles. Missed it.
Both of them on display in that rally.
Crazy good tennis.
52.
That was an unreal hooker right there, and then Federer answers. It's out.
Actually, the one thing that I have noticed is normally both of these guys spend quite a bit of time looking up at the replays in between points, whether it be a good point or a close call or whatever it may be, but neither guy is really looking to the screen tonight, keeping their eyes squarely focused between the lines.
Just long. Players check the screen to sort of scout how the point went, review it, or is it just to admire the shot?
They admire.
Check themselves out a little bit.
This pattern working again for Federer, making Nadal pass him from deep in the backhand corner. 10 for 12 in this set as Federer coming forward.
Yep.
The other thing the players get from the screens is because quite often the cameras do a slow-mo on a reaction after a long point or an injury or a wincing or whatever it may be. But these guys haven't seen anything. They certainly have kept their heads down.
Huge point. Just a grinding rally. The 3.5-hour mark almost. 19 very physical shots. Federer up against it. Break point 4-all. Quick check of his foot after that point, the ankle maybe.
Nobody thought that was coming back. Federer got stopped. This one looked like it was a clean winner, and he gets his racket on and gets it back.
Nasty backhand. That's what he's working on, leaning on it, creating a real angle.
Run up on the plate to play that backhand as well, Chris.
A little surprised there that Federer just spun in his first serve at that. He hit it 97 miles an hour, and Nadal sort of gave him a look after that point as if to say, okay, thanks.
Tony up again. Federer has been able to save 4 break points in this set.
Passed again off the forehand wing.
He's collected his towel and he's walking. Almost always in trouble in this set, Patrick. Down 2-1. Under pressure on his serve all the time, and finally Nadal able to get the break, and he'll serve for a spot in the final.
The pattern continuing is get deep into the set and the points get more important. And Nadal able to play his safe, normal game. You look at the numbers for both guys are very good in this set. Both have more winners and errors, but Nadal 11-4, Federer 12-9. And again, it comes down to belief.
And Roger did do a good job to hang on the early parts of that set, and actually had a break point in the previous service game from Nadal, so that's a huge 2-game swing.
So calm, doesn't appear to be any different now than he did in the first set, but he knows he's got to find a way to break Nadal's serve. As you said, those numbers better in this 4th set than overall. Nadal will be tight trying to serve this match out. We'll see if he can overcome it and make some first serves. He's got new balls. Breeze at his back. Quick little steps, Patrick, to get out of the way of that return, which was right in his feet.
Semifinal.
Dialogue back and forth between Rafa and his coach and uncle. He's been out of his seat often in this match. Missed it. Nadal so good at taking his time after a miss. Two points from the final.
Match point. Nervous cut. That lob just floating. Federer trying to will it long.
What was Federer thinking, though, taking this ball, trying to hit an overhead here? You got to stop and play a forehand.
Very off balance, wasn't he?
Oh, well, he's just mentally off balance. Wow.
Thank you.
comes right back with a clean return.
That's a strong effort. Federer was on the last down the middle serve on break point. There's a fair chance this one will be going out wide.
He was on that one too. Federer trying to smile through the pain, Patrick, but a very familiar result in this head-to-head. It's not for a title quite. Spot in the final. And he makes it 18-9 head-to-head, 8-2 in majors.
Well, we keep being honored to watch these two go at it. Those two are the greats of all time, but the story remains the same. Nadal just too tough, too consistent.
Nadal joining the chorus of fans applauding Federer as he exits. And a string of majors without a title for Roger now goes to 8. His most recent here a couple of years ago. Nadal can be excused if he has to be reminded this wasn't a final. He's so used to taking on Roger. Hey, he went to his knees, but hey, Rafa, there's one more big match to play, and it'll be Sunday night. And he'll have 2 days to recover from this one, but you can see how sweet it feels for him.
Another come-from-behind win from him, dropping the opening set and got down an early break in the second, but the will is just unbelievable from this guy. And he, again, has willed himself to victory over Federer.
We talked about strategy and tactics and game plans, and all of that plays a huge part. But you guys also talk about the belief in the fight, and when it's just guy versus guy across the net. More often than not, in fact, now 2/3 of the time, it's been Rafa with the answer. Now he'll watch with keen interest tomorrow, because Djokovic clearly has had his number. 6 straight finals a year ago. Here's Rafa with Jim Courier.
Well, Rafa, a special night for all of us to get to see this great rivalry in action again. Boy, the third set, you were down to break a serve. How did you get out of that against the great Roger Federer?
Well, I was a little bit lucky that I had the break back at the next game. No, that's true. I had a big mistake at the beginning of the third with that love 30. I had a couple mistakes there, and after Roger started to play much better, and I was lucky in that game. That was a very, very important game on the match, because if I lose the second set, the third set, probably he plays more and more aggressive, and it's always impossible to stop him.
Well, you were almost impossible to stop at 6-1 in the tiebreak. 6-1 in the third set tiebreak, and then it got complicated. What were you thinking at 6-5?
Please win the point. That's all. I was very, very nervous at that moment. No, losing 4 set points in a row is tough in a tiebreak, and especially when you play probably with the greatest of the history between him and Rod Laver. So it's just always a pleasure to be here in this court. Thank you very much, all the crowd, to supporting here, to support the event. For me, it's a really honor to play against Roger. It's another, I think, fantastic match. So very, very happy. I wish him all the best for the rest of the season, because he deserves.
Well, talk a little bit, if you would, about what the rivalry with Roger has meant to your career. It's been incredible for us to witness. What's it been like to be a participant with him?
It's just amazing, no? And it's fantastic to have one player in front of you that you saw him without mistakes, having a totally complete game. So the only thing that I did all my career is try to keep learning, no? Because I always saw in front of me one player better than me.
That's very kind. You started the tournament with a little bit of a scare. You started with your knee was a problem just before the tournament. Can you believe that you've gotten through that to get through into the finals now again?
If you tell me that 2 Sundays ago, I really cannot imagine. No? So for me, it's a dream to be back here in a final of Australian Open. Is one of the favorite tournaments of the year, I think, for all the players, because the organization is probably one of the best on tour. So thank you very much, everybody, to support the players like this.
Well, you have 2 days off now. You get some extra rest. There's another fantastic semifinal tomorrow night with Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray. What are the keys to the match for those guys? Play analyst. Let me know what you think they need to do against each other. What would you be looking for?
I think both players are playing fantastic. Novak is coming here with, you know, after winning the last 2 Grand Slams, being number 1 of the world, and playing like this. Fabulous match yesterday against David Federer. So he's coming with big confidence, and probably Novak, he knows how he has to play. He has to play aggressive. He's playing with no mistakes. No, he's playing, changing directions very, very easy, and seems he's very solid. And in my opinion, Andy, if he wants to win that match, I think he has to play more aggressive than usual, and that's that's my advice. But my advice probably is not work very well, because I lost the last 6 times against him.
Well, we're going to find out pretty soon who's going to be on the other side of you. You're going for your 11th major championship on Sunday night. Congratulations. Fantastic effort tonight. What a pleasure. Rafael Nadal, thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
It's very interesting there, offering some scouting advice to Andy Murray.
Yeah, please, could you beat Djokovic so I don't have to play him again?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we said it's now 18-9. Nadal 2-0 at the Australian Open. In fact, Federer's only gotten it in majors at Wimbledon in those 2 finals before Nadal broke through in 2008 in that epic final, and very gracious comments. I think that Rafa always feels, Patrick, like he's behind Roger in the rankings, even when that's not the case.
Right.
I think Federer brings out the best in Nadal, but maybe we saw again tonight the same is not true in reverse.
No, I think that's a great point, Chris, because I think it forced Nadal to add things to his game. It forced him to improve his serve, improve his volleys, be more aggressive. And for Federer, it's like he can't shake this guy. And you could go through it like we did the whole match. You break down the X's and O's. The bottom line to me is he just doesn't believe in these moments that his best is going to be good enough against Nadal. And Nadal's able to play basically the conservative style throughout the whole match. And, you know, obviously pick it up at certain moments. But Federer, it's almost like he's got too many options. And when he plays against everyone else, it works for the most part. When he plays against Nadal, he sort of runs himself into trouble.
Federer is still a very young 30, obviously physically right there. Was no physical issue in the match. There's reason to believe that he's depleted physically going forward in 2012. But now if you start to look at, you know, the head-to-head, the odds shift against you when you get to Paris and the whole entire clay court season. Really.
He's certainly playing well enough, and he showed again here that he can win another one of these. It's certainly at Wimbledon, where he's won so many times, in the U.S. Open. But this has got to hurt a lot, because in many ways, particularly coming into this match, Chris, he was playing better than Nadal. But when you get down to it, when they go out there one-on-one, Nadal had the answers, and he had the answers at crunch time, and that's when he needed it.
Yeah, winning streaks coming in, form, as you said well, all of that sort of out the window when it's hombre and hombre on the court. Nadal through in 4 to the final.